What's up, family? Big Mouth back again. Today on the video we're going to be putting some new rear shocks in the back of the wagon. Got some tools out and stuff. I'm not sure, can't remember, been a while since I've ripped it apart, so I'm not sure exactly on everything what I'll need yet, but we'll have a look. What the reason is, when we got the wagon 5-6 years ago, whatever it was, first thing we want to do, it was all stock standard, first thing we want to do of course is put some big wheels on there and lower it, of course. So we did all that. We've got some SSL King Spring, or SSL King Springs in there. And obviously it's still just running the standard shocks. At the time I was like, we'll upgrade them at some point with some shorter ones. So I think at the moment it's sagged down a little bit, so I think it's probably time where the shocks are pretty ordinary now, the standard shocks. And obviously because they were standard height shocks as well, they're already probably more compressed with the lower springs in there. And then just over time it's pretty rough, so hopefully once we put some new shortened, lowered, whatever you want to call them, rear shocks in here. These ones are said on the website that they are suited to the King Springs, which is pretty much what they always say. It's pretty much like a common spring for the Commodores. Everyone just goes with the Kings, of course. So we'll rip it all apart, get into it, and see how we go. Righto, so now I've got the wheel off, have a bit of a look in here. Obviously the shock spring I've got to get out, so there's a bolt at the bottom there, and I assume I have to undo the lower control arm bolt and lower that down a little bit, I guess is the easiest way, and then up the top there as well, but I'm not 100% sure, I can't remember. Like I said, I did put these springs in years ago, but we'll have a look. Righto, so there it is out of the car. Not too hard, yeah, these top 4 bolts are pretty okay. Then the sway bar one there, that can be a little bit tricky. You have the right little tool to go inside of there, slide a ring spanner over first, put the little tool in and do that. And you've got your lower control arm here. That one can be a little bit tricky too, because the bolt's got to go through this way, and then on the other side you have to put the nut in before you put the bolt in, because there's no room on the other side. So like once the nut's in place, bolt goes in, does itself up, so you can only use an open-ended spanner on that. And then there's just your bottom shock bolt. Obviously it's not too tricky either, but you do need to keep them separate because they're different lengths, those bolts, and can cause you some drama there. So now we just have to get the spring out of here, and then we'll change it over to the new, as you can see, very different shock there. Hopefully that's the right one. Righto, so spring compressors are on, and they're a fun bit of kit. And now we're just going to undo this here. So we're going to need to throw a spanner on there, throw an Allen key in there, take the top off. Spring compressors I actually borrowed from a mate a couple of years ago. Haven't seen them for a while to give them back to him. They're not lost, so Pete, if you're watching, lunchbox, I've still got them, they're not lost. And now we'll rip this top off. Righto, so what we can see here, the old one, got the dirty old spring off. Here's the old one. And the new one, it is fractionally shorter. But also by the looks of this, you know, this one being new is fully extended out. And this one here, you can pull it out, but it's not, it hasn't just shot out like it should have. I would say obviously this is, you know, with a longer spring on here, it's used to doing its suspension travel up here. And then once we put a shorter spring on, now it's doing its suspension travel down here, and I assume it's probably bottoming out, or if not close to, because it was really quite rough when we went over bumps and stuff, which obviously being lowered it would be anyway, and with the 20-inch wheels, but it was just getting ridiculous, so it was pretty sure that they needed replacing, and by the looks of that, I would say we're on the money. And yeah, so there it is, all completed. So now we'll throw it back in completely the opposite way in which we've just pulled it all apart. And hopefully it should do the trick. And once I get to the other side, I won't worry about filming that, because obviously it's all going to be the same. And for anybody watching close enough, you'll realise I left a piece out. Fortunately, I only just had it back in the car, started up in place, went to put 2 bolts in, and went, something's missing here. So, off it comes again. Right, so there it is. Excuse the neighbours. They're all both shocks changed over, put back in, wheels back on. About to lower it down. It's a bit of a mission, but it was worth it. I don't know. I guess if you don't want to tackle something like that and make a mess like this, you can pay someone to do it. But I don't mind getting in there and getting dirty. I think maybe, if these paying along one of these that went on top of the shocks, I think maybe I'll chuck one on upside down. Don't know if that matters or not, but it's back in there now, so I don't care. I'll lower it down now, and I don't anticipate seeing any real difference, but I just hope that I'll feel the difference in the ride. Yeah, there it is. It's back. Another job putting some new ones of those in there. But anyway, I felt like it had a little bit of suspension before. It didn't really feel like it had that. You could push on the back and it was just like solid. It wasn't really going anywhere, so hopefully that's going to translate into a better ride when we're all done. What do you reckon, Kat? Yeah? He approves. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Big Mow's out of here. Going to get cleaned up. Take it for a ride and see what it feels like. Right, well there we are. Fresh back from a test drive. pretty happy with it. I think it's definitely better. I mean, in the way I understand, if it works the way I understand it, which like obviously with a full length shock and a full standard height spring, you know, and then going to a shorter spring but not shortening your shock, obviously you're going to be, I assume the shock will be bottoming it out as it sags. So with the, I think with the shorter shock in there as well, it should definitely help. So it was super rough before, so it feels a little bit better. I haven't taken it for over a lot of bumps yet, but it's never going to be really like floating on a cloud kind of thing because it is low suspension and big wheels. So, but overall pretty happy with it. So now just got to clean up the mess. But anyway, catch you later. Okay guys, so just as a bit of an add-on to the video, just to show that the old shocks were stuffed, I compressed this down a couple of days ago and it hasn't even bothered to push back out like it should have if it was still good. So it was definitely stuffed. Also, for anyone wondering, the lower control arm bolt was 18mm, the bottom shock bolt was 18mm, the sway bar link was 15mm, and the top shock bolts were also 15mm. So all pretty easy, couple of spanners, couple ratchets, but pretty easy. So yeah, cheers.